Hey everyone, welcome to another match of Temur Hooting Delver. Today we are playing white-red prison deck. Opening hand is interesting. It's a tad heavy on, I guess I would say expensive threats, but Serum Visions plus a fetch land plus 2 removal spells is what kind of won me over here. So our opponent starts off with Gemstone Cavern. Alright. Interesting. I guess that's a sign of things to come. Get our Steam Vents, Serum Visions. We get our Forest and a Delver. We don't want another Delver, but a Forest is fine. Alright. Talisman. Interesting. So we will play our Forest. We will play our Delver. Usual sequence of plays here. And yeah. We'll see what our opponent has to play on their turn 3. Talisman of Conviction. Not a card you see often in Modern, is it? Aaron Mesa. Let's see what our opponent is going to cast. Turn 3. He's taking his time. Blood Moon. Blood Moon. Is he Blood Mooning us? Turn 1. He's doing it dirty. I guess it's okay. We got our Forest, which is super important at this point. Let's see if Delver flips. It does. And we get Traverse. So you know what? Blood Moon, no problem. We're going to go in and attack in. Yep. I'm going to take Traverse immediately and go get an island immediately and leave it at that. That was a lucky flip. A good thing we run Traverse, isn't it? So now we're facing down a Blood Moon. We have all the land generators that we need though, so can't complain. For land, what are we going to see next? Nothing. Alright, I'll end of their turn bolt them. See if that triggers anything. It does not. Good. We get a mountain. That's going to cost us 2 life to play. Let's first come in with our Delver. We will cast Tarmogoyf as well. A Braid. Okay. It's not like we have an answer for it. I do believe it'll make our Tarmogoyf bigger though. So, alright. Question is, do I want to be aggressive with our Steam Vents and bolt them again? Looks like the answer is yes. Could also be threatening Mana Leak mana that way, or Remand, or anything else. This is interesting. Outlaws Merriment. Again, I guess a card you don't see often in Modern. But not necessarily a card I want to see either. So yeah, that kind of sucks. So they get to choose what type of token they create at the beginning of their upkeep. Not what I would like to see. Luckily our opponent is already at 9. And luckily we have Hooting Mandrills. So we can trample over if need be. think step number 1. Okay, I guess thought scour. My thought process here is maybe we can make our Tarmogoyf a bit bigger. We do not. We do not. We draw a Windcaller Aven, which actually is not irrelevant if we start getting stupid little tokens sitting in front of our Tarmogoyfs. I think we have enough creature types, card types, to cast Hooting Managers without hurting our Tarmogoyf. Our opponent does have an instant and land, so we could target all our instants and lands. Alright, what are we getting? We're getting a 1/2 rogue. Okay. 1 damage to any target. I guess we're taking it. Yep. Shocker. I still don't think they're going to have enough to, yeah, they're not. So I think our opponent just figured it out that it wasn't going to work out. So Engineer Explosive, I mean, if our opponent is on a token strategy, Engineer Explosive is a must. Clearly Blood Moon is not a card we're going to bring in this game. We did see an enchantment, so Destructive Revelry is not an incorrect card to bring in. Huntmaster of the Fells as well, because I feel like the next 2 games are going to be a bit grindy. So we can take out 2 Hooting Mandrills there pretty comfortably. Same for Thought Scour. We're going to be interacting with our opponent a bit more. Games are going to be going on a bit longer, so it's safe. Our opening hand is Blood Moon ready, so that's like a snap keep essentially. We got lucky in game 1. It looks like we're getting lucky in game 2 as well, dodging potential Blood Moon catastrophe. So let's see how this game plays out. Alright. Slow start. I like it. We get Traverse. And we end our turn. Considering we have all the lands that we need, there's no point in using Traverse to get our final island. I'd much rather wait for Delirium, if possible. We could also use Opt end of turn. Talisman of Conviction. Alright. I don't cast Opt, and that was a misplay. I do remember. I kind of kicked myself for that. I should have cast Opt. It would have prevented us from drawing Scalding Tarn. So, bit of a bummer. Kind of upset about that. But it is what it is. Waiting for our opponent to click proceed. Thank you. So we'll get a breeding pool. We'll put Tarmogoyf down. Oh, it looks like I'm going for Traverse. Interesting. Okay. I wonder what Kev was thinking. What was I thinking? Interesting, interesting, interesting. I think I was trying to thin out the deck at this point. I think that Opt not being cast at the end of our opponent's last turn kind of threw us off. That was definitely a mistake. That was not a proper way to manage our resources. Rest in peace. Essentially, GG. Given the hand that we have, we need to find an answer to it immediately, or else it's gonna be a very, very, very difficult uphill battle. Rest in Peace is one of the few graveyard hate cards that really hits us hard. Use Opt now. At this point, having to dig for Destructive Revelry or Engineered Explosives. At this point, I'm thinking, what could I possibly do? just more cards that we don't want. There's really just one card that we need right now. Or two, technically. And we're not getting it. Casting 0/1 Tarmogoyfs seems wrong. Definitely was feeling hopeless at this point, because if we don't find an answer to Rest in Peace soon and we get Nahiri, that's basically the magic gods telling me, hey, you know what, time to hit concede. I think I stick around a bit more, but with Nahiri now resolved, that's brutal. Things are not looking good for us. Our opponent playing it safe. Now, with a second Planeswalker on the battlefield, it's a problem. Definitely going to mana leak it because, I mean, what else are we going to do? We can hope to get to 6 mana, 6 lands, so we can hardcast Hooting Mandrills, but with Nahiri essentially having a clock on us, it's not looking good. We can always bolt Nahiri and kind of slow that plan down, but not really solving the problem. There I am reading, reminding myself that Nahiri is basically telling me to concede. I mean, we're getting the lands, and yeah, I mean, I get that I want to slow the Nahiri plan down, but it's just a brutal state of affairs. Yep. We cannot do much. So at this point, I mean, not at this point, I mean, it's already been a couple of turns. We've felt the game that has basically slipped away from us. Again, we have so few answers to enchantments in the first place, and we really need to draw them. We weren't able to counter Rest in Peace when it counted, so it's doing its job. Doing its job very well. Serum Visions. Here I'm contemplating I either cast Serum Visions or I cast Hooting Mandrills. I think the correct play is to cast Hooting Mandrills to put some sort of pressure on the battlefield. You never want to cast Hooting Mandrills for 6 mana. You should concede just for that. Wrath of God means I hate you, and I don't want you to play Magic. So it's game. I think I was stunned at this point to see Wrath of God come down. But I'm probably doing some quick napkin math. Chalice of the Void, and it's game. Yeah. I mean, I'm not even sure why I waited to concede. There's nothing I can do. Quite literally nothing. Yeah. So let's get to game 3. That was just bad. So Goblin Crate Maker can work here to destroy, Chalice of the Void, for example. Or any other weird artifact that our opponent might be playing. I would bring in Ancient Grudge as well, but then we have to think about what we're removing. Our opponent's not really playing any creatures that we've seen, so Windcaller Aven kind of useless. Our opening hand is... it's not good at all. I think this would be a mulligan. It's too many lands. It looks like I end up keeping it though. My thought process here, I assume, is that I want to put pressure on as soon as possible. And at the very least, I have fetches to get around Blood Moon. It must be that. That's the only reason I would have kept it. And I do have 3 fetches, which means I'll be feeding my graveyard, which means Hooting Mandrills can come down relatively quickly. So I guess it was a good call. But it was really borderline. Really, really borderline. With 4 lands in a starting hand, it's borderline keep. Alright, looks like our opponent is playing 8 of those cards, but it'll resolve. Hopefully Delver flips and we can start putting pressure immediately. We've gone through 5 lands already, so can't be a land. Statistically speaking. And it isn't. It's a lightning bolt. Excellent. Exactly what we want. We can start putting pressure immediately. We also put a Misty Rainforest down. In case our opponent does Blood Moon next turn, we can go fetch for a forest and we can secure our lands. Yeah. So let's see what's coming down. So it looks like we're going to get Chaliced again. Not happy about that. Not happy about that at all. At this point, we are kind of forced to play our 1-mana spells, lest they be nullified. Tarmogoyf is a good draw. At this point, we need those type of threats. Considering that we have no guarantees that we'll have an answer for Chalice of the Void later on in the game, I decide to put our land at risk by not getting a forest and just lightning bolting right now. But I think it's the correct play. So let Chalice resolve. We have Tarmogoyf and Hooting Mandrills, which are currently not affected by Chalice. So be it. Engineer Explosives, though, is an answer. I don't think we need to rush it out immediately, but it's an answer. My only reason why I don't want to cast it right now is if they put a Chalice for 2, at which point I would target that Chalice of the Void and not the one that's currently on the battlefield. But we're putting on pressure. Our opponent's already down to 11, so they gotta find an answer soon. Alright, that's fine. Another engineered explosive target. At least the tokens. So they're a bit behind here. We have a slight edge. My main concern would be rest in peace. We'll fetch end of turn, get a land. Really don't want to draw a land right now. The last thing we want to see is a land. We need more gas. Hooting Mandrills is not necessarily the gas I wanted to see, but better than a land. We attack in with everything. And at this point, casting Hooting Mandrills, you know, brings Tarmogoyf down to 0-1. Not necessarily what we want. Safest play is just put Steam Vents down and cast Hooting Mandrills, but only exiling 2, right? Yeah. Oh, I decided to go with 3. Yeah, I guess that is efficient. That is the efficient way to do it. Our opponent quits at that point because it's GG. Of course it is. So we managed to fend off Blood Moon turn 1, game 1. Didn't get there game 2, and game 3 our opponent just couldn't get ahead of us, which is exactly what we want in the first place. They did get their Chalice on 1, but we cast off. We got our Tarmogoyf, we cast our Lightning Bolt, bring them down, and we just kept the pressure on. We did exactly what we want to do against most decks, and yeah, I think that was an interesting deck to play against. It was a very prison control style, using the Hiri for what I assume would be an ultimate to get Emrakul. But hey, we got it. We beat him. I hope you enjoyed that match. If you enjoyed the video, please give it a thumbs up. If you enjoy my content, please subscribe. It'll help the channel, and it also means you get notifications when I upload new videos. And yeah, stay tuned for more. Have a good one.